let
because
go and fly.
yeah, it's basically a whole nother level of like employee development, right? But they're doing it on their own. It's not costing you anything, I mean, maybe set some boundaries around it, but yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity when people kind of create those. It's almost like non-compete. I think that, those can be kind of a missed opportunity for people because why wouldn't you want your people to have an expanded skill set and expanded perspective?
This is Dustin Howes with Affiliate Nerd Out. Welcome to the Nerdatorium.
Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out Real Talk Friday edition. My guest is always Kristen Evans. Hiya.
Hi.
What's going on?
Nada. Just, working. I've been working on audits all week, so I feel like I'm seeing spreadsheet grades just in front of my eyes at any given moment.
Oh, I remember you coined the phrase fraud it, and then I bought fraudit.com, and then I never did anything with it. So I spent like $50 just letting it sit for years in my
I mean,
domain.
I kind of feel like that's a normal thing to do in our industry. Like, I'll think of a domain and I'll be like, oh, I have to purchase it. And then I'll go back into my account and I'm like, why do I have like 30 domains?
Just burning money you're never gonna do anything with.
Yeah.
And
But I
I gotta
mean, just in case, or if somebody wants to buy it one day, like that's a good investment.
and how many have you sold?
No,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, like, Jesus. I don't even know how to sell one. Like,
it'd be cool though. I mean, I have a couple that are up there. I think I have one or two that's like $1,500. So I know, right? Just really like high value targeted kind of keywords,
okay.
domain words. And so,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I like every couple of months I'll get an idea for a website name and I'm like, go purchase it.
Just lighting money on fire. Yeah, I've got pickleball dot coupons, which I expect to, never use, but
That's so ironic given how you feel about working with
oh,
coupons.
yeah. I don't wanna become who I hate,
Yeah.
but maybe one day I'll just decide, I like money more, like,
Like money.
yeah. Oh, let's just do it. I could easily make $100,000, like, frauding companies out
Yeah.
of stealing a last click.
Maybe we just don't do that though.
Oh, alright. I was trying to bring my dog in to show you how big he is, but he wouldn't come, and then he ran out the door, and I couldn't.
Oh, okay. Cool. Love you too, Ollie. Whatever.
I know. What a shrewd dog. Um,
Mine's just over here snoring.
yeah, that's what that noise is. Great.
Always.
So, fraudits, what's going on? Like, you pick up some new clients, or is this a new service?
Yeah. So I actually just yesterday I did one of the biggest audit. Well, not one of the biggest audits, but maybe an audit for one of the biggest brands that I think I've ever worked with. And it went really well. They gave me really good feedback. They seemed, pretty impressed by what I had presented. Their affiliate program is just sat completely untouched. And this is they have both brick and mortar as well as D2C presence. And I think the company overall does something like in the hundreds of millions a year. And like their D2C is a lower contribution of that. And their affiliate program is at like less than 1% of their overall D2C. This is like a big, well known brand. So I was just kind of able to get in with the audit and, kind of show what the potential was. And they're like, oh man, that's a lot of revenue. And I was like, yeah, could potentially be a lot of revenue if we, do it right. So it was good. I felt really nervous about it. I had one of those moments beforehand where I was like, who gave me the right to have a big girl job? Like,
Uh,
what is this? But I felt really good, got some good feedback. It's through another agency. So I'd be like whitelisting or white labeling my services, which I've done. And some really good feedback from the agency. And it seems like we have a really good chance of winning the business. So I'm excited about that. And then yeah, I'm just auditing another brand right now, doing a paid audit, which like more companies need to do that, just like
oh,
I mean, even just, if there's a potential of winning the business, like if you just need somebody to get in and get their hands and like unravel whatever is going on in there, pay an expert to do that and like let them like build all of the like strategy and potential out for you and like highlight what's actually going on in your program versus not. Cause I really think that that's one of those things where there's a potential for lost opportunity. Like how many times have people performed audits the art paid, and then, the agent or the company goes with another agency or something along those lines. But then, you don't always want to do an audit after you launch, because that's like the first month of the business is just like performing that and like
Yeah.
really getting down into the nitty gritty. So I think that's kind of a cool new opportunity that I'm thinking of anyway, strategically, to just be like, hey, I will dig in, I'll do an audit, it's going to be this many hours at this rate per hour. We can go over the findings, and then we can talk about what it looks like with us working together and building out the strategy to kind of, reach better potential based on what we found in the audit.
Well, I think there's an opportunity for you and I to work together on some of these too. I've done dozens of audits and I like doing the work, but I don't have enough time to do it because I'm trying to focus on other things. So I put it aside, but I can make out a funnel to like get more people to come and buy an audit, whether it be cheap and like it's a good starting point for conversations.
It is. I think it's a good relationship builder too, because I think it can build kind of like that authority and that trust and that credibility relatively easily, just by saying like, this is what I'm finding. And these are the things that I think we can do. And this is the potential where it can go. And yeah, so that's been really fun and interesting, but I've been just staring at spreadsheets all week long, and I don't love a spreadsheet, but man, they love me.
Yeah, and speaking of audits, like what are some of your go-to stops within that audit? You're talking about spreadsheet, obviously looking at the existing affiliates and in them a placement of like, hey, these guys aren't very incremental. These guys are, we should be doing more work with these guys. These guys we should probably kick out of the program because they're trademark bidding.
Yeah.
Those things come naturally, but what other things are you looking at?
I'm looking at the transactions, are people
Okay.
scripting codes? I'm looking at commission structures, and really making sure that it's aligned and that the program is running efficiently. I'm looking at communication flows. So, our
Yes.
newsletters being sent out. Is there a welcome email? Is there, some sort of like resource center or toolkit for affiliates so that when they join the program, they have like everything they need to just create content without any barriers? And I'm looking at tracking. That's a big one. I mean, for one of the brands that I'm looking at right now, it looks like tracking really just like crumbled last September, and they lost about more than half of affiliate revenue. So kind of digging into like what happened there. And then I'm also digging into like AI and GEO citations to see like what their share of voice and market share, alongside their competitors. I do a big competitor analysis to see
Great.
if we're well positioned with, the cookie length or commission structure, or, even like what publications are talking about their competitors that we're not necessarily a part of. So really, I mean, I focus very heavily content first. So looking at like who is in the program and who needs to be in the program, what kind of, offshoot, like maybe sub buckets can we take advantage of for a pipeline for, new prospects and new partners. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to it, obviously looking at what is going on, it's trying to get a picture of what's been done historically, and then where we can go from there.
Great points. One thing I will add is I like going in as from the publisher perspective and doing a quick like,
Yeah.
hey, how easy is it to join the program? What's
Yep.
my experience when I join the program? How is my experience getting a hold of the people? How is my experience getting my first link? And those are important aspects that you might miss in a traditional audit. So,
Yep.
something you might, I mean, we all should be looking at altogether, but
I feel like that's how I've ended up being part of like 700 affiliate programs.
Also a good way to drum up business, like, from my past is I joined a lot of affiliate programs and started having a conversation from that welcome email from the affiliate manager, like, "Hey, you need any help over here? And do you, like, need any publishers?" I hustle that way, but slowed down a little bit lately. I've been catching a lot of content partnerships lately, and
Yeah.
I've also been diving into UGC creation. So
Mhm.
I joined a group and am becoming that UGC and try to live that creator dream lately and starting to get some sponsorships, upfront money for my face. So hopefully you're gonna see me, promoting boner pills here on Instagram soon. Like you'll just be scrolling and
And then there's Dustin.
I only promote products that I believe in. You know that. Ugh, yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know if you saw this
Moonlighting.
week. What?
Speaking of moonlighting, you
Yeah.
wanted to bring up something with Stephanie Robbins.
Yeah, Stephanie Robbins, who we all know and love and has the best hair in the affiliate industry. She had a really great post. So she's one of the directors of affiliate over at Right Side Up. And she had a really great post about moonlighting this week. Yeah. It doesn't just add income, it adds perspective. Now I know a lot of, companies, agencies, et cetera, might look down their nose at this. I think it's the wrong stance to take. Like, why are you taking away opportunity from people? That only makes people resentful and disgruntled. But, I don't really call it moonlighting because I own my own business, so I can do whatever I want. But a lot of people moonlight with Right Side Up, and one of the things that I think that is so valuable that Steph brings up in her post is that it provides an additional kind of insight lever and an experience lever. Like, you can work within different industries. You can take on programs that like maybe, your agency doesn't necessarily take on, or if you're in-house at a brand, like you can kind of expand your scope beyond a single brand and into different, verticals and niches. And it's kind of, I had Julia Hochstein on my podcast a while ago, and she told me that she likes to every once in a while, like go from brand back into agency so that she's like refreshing her skills and honing her skills. And I think that moonlighting can do the exact same thing. It's an opportunity to really kind of like make sure that you're on top of, new things. Like, I don't know how deeply I would have gotten into AI and AEO and GEO if it wasn't for some of the moonlighting projects that I do, because
Absolutely.
that's something that's very heavily pushed. And yeah, I think it's really interesting. It's the same thing with, when I'm white labeling with another company, like I might work more heavily with a PR company, or I might work more heavily with like a creative agency that does, a lot more like paid search and stuff like that. And I think that having kind of those my chemicals in all those spaces just makes me smarter and, more aware of what's happening.
It's so instrumental in your career path, like going and moonlighting and trying new things. Like if I think back to my days of running WP Engine, I was good at that job, right? But then my next few jobs consulting with other companies in the SaaS space that were different, had different ideas, had different partners that I built relationships with. They had different concepts and partner
Mhm.
personas to be
Mhm.
attacking that I'd never even thought about. And then going back to WP Engine with those ideas is something that companies should be interested in wanting. So the moonlighting concept, stopping people from moonlighting just because you don't want them getting their attention away from something is a bad choice, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah,
let them
because
go and fly.
yeah, it's basically a whole nother level of like employee development, right? But they're doing it on their own. It's not costing you anything, I mean, maybe set some boundaries around it, but yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity when people kind of create those. It's almost like non-compete. I think that, those can be kind of a missed opportunity for people because why wouldn't you want your people to have an expanded skill set and expanded perspective?
Absolutely. And so if for those of you looking to moonlight, go see Stephanie Robbins,
Yeah.
and you can find her on LinkedIn pretty easily. All right, as we wrap up, I just want to mention one last thing. I've got a webinar coming up. It's called a creator flywheel. So these folks from Graphy approached me and said, "Hey, we want to do a webinar with you. Can you do like a 30-minute presentation on your journey throughout building your community and your course and things like that?" I'm like, I made a ton of mistakes. So
Please learn from me.
I'm going to explain all the mistakes I made and how Graphy is making this super simple for somebody that has expertise in a field and wants to share that, and like the process to get it going through content, then community, then a course, then a mastermind, and then breeding them into being affiliates of yours. It's a flywheel. Please go sign up. I'd appreciate it. So
That's exciting.
anyway, awesome. Good talk. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Happy Friday, friends.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
Listening to What is a Paradigm? Host Dustin.